The fried liver attack is a opening with a very funny name, but it's a very common opening, and it's extremely important for you to learn it. Besides what I'm going to show you in this video, there's a lot of lines that you'll need to know once you become a more experienced player and want to play in tournaments against people who have actually researched it and studied it. Now the fried liver, that name, people think it might have come from the original name, the Fegatello opening, and it was just too hard to say, or maybe a coach wanted to make it more fun many years ago and switched it and called it the fried liver. What we're going to look at today is really just the start of it, setting this up for the fried liver. Because it's such a basic version, it's really just an extension of the two knights defense. Let's go ahead and have a look at the fried liver attack. Now to get ready, let's talk about the pawns that are in front of the king. There's 3 pawns in front of the king. And if we look at those pawns, you can see that the D pawn is protected 4 times. The knight, the bishop, the queen, and the king guard the D pawn. The E pawn, also protected 4 times. Queen, king, bishop, knight. But the F pawn's only guarded once. The king's the only protector. So that's our target. Now when you first started playing, you probably learned the 4-move checkmate, scholar's mate. And in scholar's mate, you use the queen to go after a quick checkmate going after that pawn. It would look something like this, with the queen coming out to put some pressure on it, and then with some help from the bishop. With those two both attacking that pawn, they're overpowering the king, and finally the queen is going to capture, and it's checkmate right there on the screen. In the fried liver attack though, we're not going to bring our queen out early. Because guess what? Our opponent's not going to sit there and do nothing while we play. And they'll probably defend against it. Our queen's going to be out too early. They'll take our queen. There will be a lot of tears. It'll be a sad story. So in any case, in the fried liver attack, we're going to focus still on the F pawn. But this time we're going to use our knight and our bishop, not our queen and our bishop. Let's have a look at what we're going to do. So same thing, let's do the plan without doing black's moves. So first our knight's going to come out, and you can see its path to attack the weak F pawn. It's planning on going up to G5 and putting that pressure on. But now we'll get the bishop out, the knight and the bishop both are going to aim there, because now we're going to play knight to G5. And now we have that double attack, there's 2 attackers on that pawn overwhelming the king. From here, the main thing that you're going to do is to capture with the knight, supported by the bishop, forking the queen and the rook. When the queen moves, in this case she can't, she's trapped, but when she moves, then the knight takes the rook. That's the whole idea of a fork, right? You attack 2 pieces, they move one, you take the other. Now I bet some of you noticed that you could actually in this position capture with the bishop, and that's a bigger payday because that's checkmate. But usually these pawns are going to be moved up and it's not going to be possible. So let's have a look now at what really happens in the fried liver attack. Here we go. E4, E5. Yes, black gets to move. Sad story, sorry. The knight comes out, puts the pressure on the pawn, and black defends it with their knight. Now the bishop comes out, attacking that weak F pawn. All right, so this move is important. Watch. Black plays knight to F6. This blocks their queen from guarding G5. And this is why we can move our knight up here and do this fried liver attack plan. If the knight didn't come out, if instead they brought their bishop out, for example here, and we brought our knight up, no good. The queen just takes. So that's why we have to wait and make sure they're bringing the knight out to F6. Now knight G5, and let's look at the main moves that black will play here. The first time you play this against your friend, they're going to play H6 and just attack your knight and make you do exactly what you wanted it to do, which is not check the king with your bishop, because he could just move and all you got was a pawn, but instead capture with the knight, and now you're forking the queen and the rook. You're attacking both at the same time. Their king can't take your knight because your knight is supported by your bishop. The bishop's protecting the knight there. So they're going to have to move their queen, and then you get to capture the rook. Now let's go back a couple moves just to refresh our memory, that we've brought our bishop out, they play the 2 knights defense, that's what this opening is, when they have both their knights out to start. Our knight comes up, And now they played just pawn to d6. We have that choice, take with the bishop or take with the knight, and it's still our better move to take with the knight. They move the queen, we take the rook. Now if they move instead their queen out, now taking with the knight will not yield a fork. If we capture with the knight, we're just attacking the rook, and the rook can move away. And yes, we can move the knight with a discovered attack, but it's not going to work out as well as we want. For example, knight captures, rook goes here, over to g8, then we could play knight d6, check, opening the line for our bishop to attack the rook, but they'll take our knight, that's 3 points for them. Then when our bishop takes their rook, their knight will jump backwards and take our bishop, that's another 3 points. They got 6 points, and we just got their rook. It's true we started out by getting their pawn, but we don't have to count that when we look at whether we should give up our knight and bishop for the rook. So in any case, here, instead of capturing with the knight, let's take with the bishop, check, pushing that king away. Now step your bishop all the way back to safety, and you're planning to bring the knight in here. All right, one last final dream move. If we're really dreaming big, we move our knight up to g5. So they come out knight to f6, knight to g5, and now let's say they play, oh no, I better bring everybody to defend the king. They bring their knight back to e7. You might notice, wow, look, when the knight takes, it traps the queen. I'll win their queen. But even better is capturing with the bishop, because that's checkmate. All right, that's a quick look at the fried liver attack. Watch the next video as well to make sure you learn a lot deeper into the fried liver attack. I'll check you later.